Osun State Governor Senator Ademola Adeleke on Sunday inaugurated the newly elected local government chairmen and councillors in the Saturday poll. Adeleke urged them to focus on good governance while warning against any attempts to forcibly occupy council secretariats. He also expressed gratitude to President Bola Tinubu for resisting attempts by some forces to destabilize Osun State. Speaking at the swearing-in ceremony in Osogbo, the governor described the occasion as a major milestone in the state's democratic process, emphasizing that the election was conducted in line with due process. We are here to conclude a democratic process for which we all labored so hard to achieve, Adeleke said. Before proceeding with his address, the governor called for a minute of silence in honor of those who lost their lives during the illegal APC takeover of local government secretariats. The governor recounted the journey leading to the local government election, stating that the Osun State Independent Electoral Commission has duly followed all legal procedures. The state electoral body had issued due notice of election a year ago. I know the commission had complied with all extant rules and procedures, which led to the emergence of the new local government chairmen and councillors, he stated. While acknowledging the legal controversies surrounding the election, Adeleke affirmed that his administration acted within the ambit of the law. Victor, what do you make of this story?
Well, I think it's a sad thing that is happening in
Osun State.
Not just in Osun State. I think there's been a precedent, set, and this is only a follow-up of what has been said. And I'm sure it's not going to be the last. I'm sure there's still going to be more of these kind of issues that that we have. And it's a sad one. It's an unfortunate one that shows the lacuna in terms of morality for especially our judicial system, where you have people flagrantly disobeying judgment of courts, whether state or high court or appeal court. You have people flagrantly disobeying different orders, different judgments from courts, and coming out openly with confidence to tell you that they've done it and they've done it and nothing would happen.
And it's democratic.
And nothing is being done. Nobody has been punished for violating. Nobody has been punished for breaking. Nobody has been punished for disobeying any laws. So what does that tell you, about the people, the kind of government or governance that we run, or leadership in this country? We have a system that has failed. We have a system that not only has failed, that is failing, that has kept failing, and if something is not done drastically, we'll continue failing. I mean, look at what is happening. It's quite unfortunate. I mean, we know what happened some 2 weeks ago or so, where I think there was a court judgment declaring the chairman for the APC angle
in Osun State.
In Osun State.
All right, there was an appeal court judgment that reinstated
them.
APC. Let me not even use a political party. There was an appeal court judgment.
The former chairman.
Reinstated. No, they are not former.
No, the chairman.
The chairman. There was an appeal court judgment that reinstated local government chairman in Osun State, and their tenure is to end in October of this 2025.
Year.
Right now, in face of that reinstatement, they attempted to resume work, and there was crisis with the PDP saying they will not go back. And they were resisting because the court had empowered them to take over
and immediately an election was done in next week.
And while that was happening, actually, the clash became bloody. One of the reinstated chairmen died in the process, and some other persons died as well. And while that was ongoing, the governor was preparing for local government election. And if you recall, the Attorney General of the Federation, Fambemi, also
issued a statement
warning the governor to detest from conducting the election, telling him it is unlawful. Yes, and the governor still went ahead to conduct the election, and in his statement made a mockery of the people that lost their lives.
Yes,
let's take a minute of let's take a moment of silence for the people who died in the illegal attempts. Well, it is what it is. One would say the judiciary, on one hand, there are concerns that the judiciary is now weak. But one would say, is it that the judiciary is weak? Because the judiciary would only do their part by giving judgment or orders, as it were. There is an arm of government responsible for enforcing these laws, on one hand. And then you would expect that state actors or actors in whatever crisis that is under that has caused the litigation will also obey the order of court or the judgment of court. In this instance, governors have been known to flout court orders and court judgments with every impetus that one can think of, and the audaciousness that they do these things and critique, and and they will tell you they will go against the judgment or order of the court, and they do it, and nothing happens. Now, are we going to liken this, or are we going to blame this on the immunity clause on the governors?
Well, I really don't think it's all about, yes, we know that is a challenge. We all agree that is a challenge, for accountability in the state level. But when you said the judiciary has done their job, I don't think that's completely true, because the function of the judiciary, the constitution has given judiciary power to make pronouncements. Now, aside from making those pronouncements, one other thing the constitution has granted the judiciary is to enforce orders. How do you enforce orders? Contempt of court. If you give, the court gives a judgment, and then somebody or a group of persons, disobey or flout that law, the constitution empowers the judiciary to either order for an arrest, or issue a...
Can you arrest a sitting governor?
No, that's the point. This is not a governor. Now, a governor has given an order. There's a body that conducted the election. They had the state...
they came out to cry out they were being arrested.
That's what I'm saying. So, do that. If you arrest... Of course, you say you can't go to the governor. We have a state house of assembly. If the court gives a judgment, a lot of things can be done to the governor. I mean, you see in a state where the governor has violated laws, several laws, you go to court. The court has orders. You can restrict. Listen, I want to give an instance. No, I will use the U.S. for an instance. There's recent video that circulated where Donald Trump was talking to a state governor about some things that they were doing, and Donald Trump told the governor, "I am going to withhold funds."
Donald Trump was talking to the governor of Maine.
Yes, Maine, exactly.
In the U.S.
Yes.
About the not implementing the executive order on transgender.
On transgender.
And the woman said she's what the state was not going to implement.
And what did he say?
And Donald Trump said he was going to cut off federal
funding.
funding.
Simple.
And she now responded, "See you in court."
In court.
And Donald Trump said, "Well, I look forward to seeing you in court."
Yes.
That's very easy. It's a walkover.
Exactly, the walkover. And the truth is, while the case is in court, the funds will be withheld. You will not receive funds. So these are there has to be consequences for people disobeying. Now, this is Donald Trump. This is an order. This is not even a court judgment. This is an order, and he's saying, look, since you're not enforcing it, there has to be some form of punishment. I believe that there has to be some form of punishment for the governors. I don't believe because of immunity nothing can be done. I don't believe. I mean, recently the Martin Ameule led the faction of the. I don't think it's faction, because right now they are recognized by law as the only. Yes.
Otherwise.
Now they have given. They went to court to block allocation and all of that. This is for me trying to set consequences, for certain action.
But it was not successful.
No, my point is.
They made an attempt.
Yes, my point is, let the court make pronouncement and then follow up. If there's contempt, if you and I flout a court order, you will see how in a moment security agencies will say contempt of court. Immediately you see yourself paying for contempt. Why can't that be so? Why? How many times have you heard that, okay, this judgment was disobeyed, and the judge, in that case, issued social measures, to the governor?
The judge cannot just come out and issue.
No, you can't. The judge actually can.
The persons.
No. When a judge gives a judgment, and
the judge cannot protest.
No, he's not protesting.
They are not. Let's see what happens when a judge gives judgment, and is flaunted. The persons in this instance, let's say there was a judgment against, let's say both of us are in court, and I am the appellant, you are the respondent, and the judge grants me my prayers, and the judgment was against you, or an order was issued, and you failed to obey that order, I will go back to the judge. The judge will not just come out.
No.
Go and do your research. I will go back to the judge to tell the judge that this particular order has not been obeyed by so and so and so, and then the judge will now give further either punishment or whatever. Where I know the judge can take that decision whether I appeal or not is probably when it comes to appearances in court. You are expected to appear in court for, I think, 3 consecutive times. You do not appear in court, you can be held for contempt. But when it comes to an order of the court, when you fail to obey it, it is a report will have to be taken back to the court that, judge, this man or this lady did not obey your order. And then the judge will now act on that report presented to it. The court will always tell you that they will not grant you what you did not pray for.
No, I like to say, I think I have a little background, in law. So this aspect of filing for contempt, if a judge gives a judgment, it is a judgment. It's like I give an instruction. If you disobey that instruction, the clerk of the court, of course, the notification will be sent that this judgment is not being enforced, and you see that this person is the judge that issued the judgment is the one to file, because at the end of the day, if you disobey me, this is the consequences of disobeying me. The appellant or the person doesn't have to be the one going to apply, because it is my judgment I have given. And that's why I said the judiciary need to step up in terms of when the Constitution gives
so
the
judiciary.
Judiciary.
In this instance, according to you, monitors their judgment.
Of course.
They monitor
that is why they have to serve,
see that it is
of course, implemented.
The judges.
Yes, and when it is not implemented, it is contempt of court. So it is a responsibility to enforce whatever, for instance, the case...
The responsibility of the judiciary to enforce their judgments.
Yes, of course. I'll give you an instance. When
That's a new one.
When the case went to the Supreme Court, the Supreme Court, I think the governor or the Oko Jumbo-led House of Assembly was fined, was it 2 million naira?
The governor was fined.
The governor was fined 2 million naira. Why was he fined 2 million naira?
You mean the matter that was withdrawn?
That was withdrawn. You say there's been a judgment, and you still came here to waste my time. At the end of the day, you waste the time of the court only for you to come and say no. What it means that you are agreeing with the previous judgment, and you finally decided that you're not going to pursue this. So I'm going to fine you because this is. So Martin Amewole did not need to complain that this will not waste our time, because it is not the time of Amewole that was wasted alone. It was the time of the court that was wasted. So you're going to be fined for wasting the time of the court. This is the same way.
So where now is the job of the law enforcement agents?
That's what I'm saying. If there's a contempt, the police cannot just go, and there has to be proof from the court that these people are in contempt, they are held in contempt of social, and it is the judge that would give, the court that would give that order to say, okay, look, we've given this order and it's not been obeyed. We are going to give you social punishment for disobeying it. It is then the responsibility of the police. But I'm saying in this case, where the court has not issued this particular content, on anybody, the police cannot just go. With
regards to the judgment of the court, let's use Amechi versus Celestine Omehia situation. Let's see how judiciary enforces judgments, whether it's judiciary that the judge will enforce or the law enforcement agents will enforce. In the case of Celestine Omehia and Amechi, when Celestine lost at Supreme Court, when Supreme Court was giving judgment in favor of Amechi, the court said that Amechi is to be sworn in with immediate effect, and the court gave that instruction that he should be sworn in and he should assume office with immediate effect. Amechi flew into Rivers State. Same day, the law enforcement agents
took over,
led him to the government house, Amechi was sworn in and assumed office. The judge did not take Amechi to the government house. The judiciary has done their part, giving a judgment. And at that moment, when judgment is given, now that judgment automatically activates the law enforcement agent. That's why their name is even law enforcement, to enforce the judgment of the court. Now, in a situation, and that was why, after all was said and done, River State was heavily, in fact, that day you could feel it.
Security presence.
It was the security presence was very heavy, and Amechi started governance very smoothly.
No, you know,
because there was an enforcement of the
there's a difference
by the people responsible for overseeing and making sure that judgment of court is being enforced.
I agree with you, but now see where the contradiction is between these two cases. For Amechi's case, the judge has said this person is governor and should be sworn in. Now, of course, Amechi going there will not go alone. As the recipient of the judgment, I go to the headquarters, police headquarters. This is judgment. We're going to
in the case of Osun State, the court made it clear.
What the court did for Osun State was reinstating this former chairman. Now, that's what they did, which of course was resisted, but they went with whatever force they had to go and enforce that judgment. Now, for the case of the election that was conducted, the state government said they had a court judgment that said they should go ahead with the election. He went and conducted an election. No court has declared that. Now, remember, the police said they were not going to participate in the election because the court had already recognized the
local government.
So they withdrew, just like they did in university, they withdrew from participating
in that election.
What that withdrawal simply means is that you do not have the backing of the law enforcement. And the electoral law, the Electoral Act, does not say that the police must be involved for an election to be credible. So the fact that the police was not involved in the election does not discredit the election. In this instance, what should happen is that the reinstated local government chairman would now need to go to court, arguing that whatever election that was done in flagrant disobedience of a judgment that was given.
Now, this is the thing, Victor, because we were talking about consequences. And in this instance, one would say that ordinarily the judgment of the Supreme Court on local government autonomy should have taken care of this.
Yes.
Because now there is a court judgment going before this election reinstating this local government chairman. One would expect that, with respect to financial autonomy, when the federal government is paying monies to local government chairmen, they will pay directly to the reinstated chairman instead of because Jack also made governors very powerful and made them to pretend over the affairs of local government. But in this instance, even though to a large extent I'm trying to make sense of the whole feet dragging in implementing that Supreme Court judgment, but if that Supreme Court judgment is to take life, as it were, this month, one would expect that the federal government, of course, Fabemi has taken a stand. So we will see a situation where the federal government will be paying directly to the reinstated chairman. And interestingly, Adeleke, when he was speaking, told the local government chairman, the ones he inaugurated now, not to go near the secretariats.
You see, this is what we started when we talked about how these governors have, there's been a precedent set where they damn the consequences. And they've decided that whatever we want to do is what we will do. Just like you mentioned, because of the immunity, that they enjoy. So it's like, I am untouchable, so I can do anything I want to do, and to hell with every other person, to hell with the judicial system, to hell with the Nigerian police force. We can do without you. I'm come and secure us. We are going to do an election. We don't care what the government says. This is what I am saying as a governor. What has been the consequences? More governors will toe this path because
it's already happening.
Yes, I mean it happened in River State when every life has gone on. It's happening in all your state. Don't be surprised by tomorrow we'll have some person come to say, oh, another governor say, I am going to do. After all, these two persons have done it and nothing has happened.
It's happening in
Osun State, rather,
yes.
And say nothing will happen. So there's no repercussion, there's no punishment for when these people that are governors, and not just governors, because I mean they are not the only ones that have been disobeying judgment. We know even some part of the federal government has also disobeyed several judgments, that has been given, and nobody has been punished. No, there's no action to say. I mean, nothing has been done to say, okay, look, this is the punishment for disobeying constitutional, laws or laid down rules. Nothing has been done, and you see that the system is quiet. What it means is that everybody fighting for selfish interests, everybody working for 2027, while the masses are suffering, people are dying, funds are being misappropriated. Why people are concerned about is power. Now, the governor, I'm telling you, just like Adeleke said, it's not really concerned about the secretary. What they want to concern themselves with is the fact that they have people that are called local government chairmen that are loyal to them.
To be in control of this.
To be in control of
this is by extension the finances of the
exactly. This is all they are concerned about, and it's unfortunate. I mean, the Supreme Court judgment made it very clear about how these things should run. The local government chairman or local government system should run by themselves.
I think probably until a time comes where, because the Supreme Court judgment only took care of certain areas,
yes,
not all the areas. Probably when the National Assembly decides to, make the electoral process,
yes,
with regards to local government polls,
the constitution,
take it away from states' electoral bodies and make it federal, where governors will have little or very limited influence. One would say probably then we'll begin to see possible transparency in local government elections.
I agree.
But pending when that is done, it will always be a case of the winner takes it all.
Of course.
Like we have seen in practically all the states.
Sadly.
All the states in the country. It is what it is for now.